Welcome to those online and those that are in person. I wanted to make one housekeeping, remind everyone to turn their phones off or on vibrate. My name is Felicia Leong, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of the Daly City Coleman Chamber of Commerce. We are here tonight to share with you the Daly City candidates with a forum. They're sitting behind me. The Chamber is a non-political organization here to pass along community news. I would like to introduce our co-sponsor, the League of Women Voters, Kathy Wheeler of North and Central San Mateo County.
Good evening and welcome. I'm delighted to see all of you here. I have to say that we do these candidate forums, a little bit of an echo. We do these candidate forums for all the elections, primary, general elections. And this is my first in-person forum since the pandemic. So this is kind of a really good thing, I think. I also have some announcements besides turning off and silencing your cell phones so the candidates are interrupted. Also, no literature, campaign literature, clothing or other materials associated with the campaigns for the candidates is permitted in the room. And right now, all I'm seeing mostly, I'm seeing Giants t-shirts, so I think that's okay. All right, and then I've been alerted that there may be some technology issues, so if we have to take a quick break to resolve those, I hope we can have some patience for that. But we'll cross our fingers that we actually don't have any technology issues. Again, I'm Kathy Wheeler, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of North and Central San Mateo County. I want to thank the Daly City Chamber of Commerce and Felicia Leong, who is the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, for sponsoring this forum tonight. We appreciate their interest and efforts in presenting events that increase voters' knowledge about the candidates and the issues. The League of Women Voters is a national, nonpartisan volunteer organization of women and men. Our education mission is to encourage your active and informed participation in government at every level. The League does not endorse candidates or political parties. Our sole interest is in helping voters gain fair and unbiased information to make an informed decision on or before Election Day. The purpose of a candidate forum is to provide an opportunity for all the candidates to be heard at one time and to be questioned by you, their potential constituents. Bringing the candidates and voters together face-to-face enables voters to be better informed about their election decisions. Thank you for coming out to learn more about the candidates and ask them questions. And I have a fair number of, some of you were able to submit questions ahead of time at the email that we provided, so I have those questions. Tonight, you will hear from the candidates for the Daly City Council. There are 7 candidates for 3 seats. The term of office is 4 years. Again, this event provides a nonpartisan setting for voters to hear all the candidates. It's not for the supporters or opponents of any candidate in the audience to demonstrate their views and preferences. So as we go on, please keep any expression of disdain or delight to yourselves for now. Also, please hold your applause until the end of the forum, when we will thank all the candidates. And I will apologize in advance if I mispronounce the name, but I'm trying very hard. So the candidates in alphabetical order are Pamela DiGiovanni, Manufo Anoe.
I can help you out a little.
I would appreciate it.
It's Manufo Liainga Anua'i.
Thank you. Ray Buenaventura. Rod Das Magbul. Close. And Cheryl Katua. So I'm really sorry, Manolfo, that I didn't get yours quite right. Here's an explanation of the ground rules. The rules of the forum are as follows. For opening statements, each candidate will have 3 minutes for an opening statement. Question period. During the question period, each candidate will have 1 minute to answer. All candidates will have an equal time to speak to the question, even if the question is addressed to only one candidate. I've done kind of a budget for the timing for tonight, and it looks like we're going to have time for at least 10 questions, and we'll try to get to 12. Okay? Closing statements, each candidate will have 2 minutes for their closing statement. Our timekeeper tonight is Betty Fleming. She will be holding up warning signs when the candidate has 1 minute, then 30 seconds left of the allotted time. There's the 30 seconds. And at the end of the time, the timekeeper will hold up the stop sign until the candidate quits speaking. And candidates, you may finish your sentence, but I'm not going to allow you to finish a paragraph, okay? Ushers are Jackie Jackelberger and Edith, where are you? Oh, you're right here. Also of the league. Questions from the audience will come via writing, and we've gotten some already. And as I said, I got some via the email address that was given in the information for the forum. The ushers have cards for you to write down your questions, so if something occurs to you during the process here, don't hesitate to ask a question. I don't guarantee that we'll have time to answer all the questions, okay? But the questions will be, I'll give the list of all the questions to the candidates, and perhaps they can answer those on their websites or other means, okay? Please write legibly and try to keep your questions brief. Questions of a personal nature and personal invective will be out of order, and I will not ask those, obviously. For those of you viewing this forum via live streaming, you can submit your questions to, hold on for a second. Submit your questions to this email address, and I don't know where the camera is, but it's questions@lwvncsmc.org. That's League of Women Voters, North and Central San Mateo County.org. I have my computer on, and I'll be monitoring the email. At this point, I'm not expecting too many questions come that way, but we do have the ability to see them. All questions come to the moderator, me, and I will sort the questions by subject, and we'll cover a variety of topics. We seldom have time to ask all questions, and I may need to rephrase or combine questions at times. Just from the email, I got upwards of 20 questions. So I've combined some of those. So if you're not hearing your question precisely, hopefully I've captured the essence of it. So before we started, the candidates drew lots, and they are in the order that they will be making their opening statements. For questions and for the closing statements, I'll be randomizing who goes first on questions, and then on closing statements, they'll go in reverse order. Okay? So I think that covers all the details. And I think that is now time for us to start with opening statements. So Cheryl Couture was lucky enough to draw number 1, so we will start with her. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Good evening, everyone. I would first like to thank the Daly City Colma Chamber, the League of Women Voters, for organizing this candidate forum. And also thank you for everyone for being here and to those who are watching. My name is Cheryl Katwar. I currently work in healthcare with previous experience in the California Army National Guard. I was a director of business development and a finance manager in the auto industry. I am also a small business owner, and I work with seniors. I have a bachelor's degree in business administration from the International Academy of Management and Economics. I immigrated here from the Philippines by myself. It wasn't easy, but with the help of government programs and members of the community, some of which are here today, Daly City has been really good to me and my family, and it is with a grateful heart that I intend to serve you all as councilwoman. Have I experienced discrimination? Yes. Have I been looked down upon? Yes, I have. Have I felt unsafe? Yes. Have I been bullied? Have I been subjected to a smear campaign? Yes, I have. It is these life experiences that have made me stronger, determined, and braver. It has inspired me to serve the community with courage, and hopefully my goal is to bring the council closer to the people. Thank you.
No clapping, please. Sorry. Thank you. So the next speaker will be Pamela DiGiovanni.
Thank you. First of all, like everyone else, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and the great people of the Daly City, both here presently and obviously on film. And we all see the beautiful faces inside and outside of even some of the candidates here tonight. So I wanted to let you know that it's been my great privilege to serve you the past 4 years, but to let you know that even before I was on the council, I was present in Daly City, serving you on the ground and serving only Daly City. I'm a firefighter's daughter, and people know that I'm on the ground. When COVID-19 hit, I was at the Bocelli Gym. I was on 90th Street. I was coordinating all the vaccination sites and making sure that they stayed open and expanded for our community, so the special needs children of our elementary schools could be coordinated and receive vaccinations and testing. I also want to highlight just a few, give you a snapshot of what we've been able to do and what I've been able to do since being on your council. And following through, people know that I'm very accessible. Very accessible. They call me all the time, and they have my phone number, and people call me, and I'm very, very free to answer the calls. So I fought for and approved hazard pay for our grocery workers and our frontline workers. I also fought at Seton. And at Seton, I will always fight to keep that hospital open, and fought for the nurses, for their medical, to make sure they had enough fair pay. Also, with the passage of increased revenues of $6 million annually through Measure Q, we have been able to do things such as restore Engine 95 as promised, expand our library as promised, expand our programs as promised, our recreation programs for children, teens, and our seniors as promised. And also in some of the other accomplishments, including, this is just a snapshot, that we've been able to implement a program through our Daly City Police Department with a mental health clinician. It's currently a pilot program, but we're hoping that we can expand it and use our funding through our Measure Q funds to make sure, and possible grants, that we can keep this, because after COVID, we all know mental health is like one of the most important things in our community. we have based on and approved. I want to make sure that I will go back to the end. I see the 30 seconds, thank you, and let people know that I'm supported and endorsed by the California Nurses Association, the Daly City Firefighters, the Daly City Police, San Mateo County Labor Council, San Mateo County Building and Trades, Senator Weiner, Ting, Becker, all the elected officials and Mullen that you know and that you love and been able to work with. I got $3.2 million for safe routes to school, and I'll tell you more later.
Thank you,
very
Pamela.
much. Thank you.
Next will be Rados Magbala.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for all coming on a Wednesday night. I know everybody would be wanting to eat dinner, probably watch some wrestling or something. But my name is Dr. Rados Magbal, and I'm the current mayor for the city of Daly City, and I've been on council since 2018. Who am I? I'm a son of Filipino immigrants, a husband, a father, a person who's dedicated and committed to a vocation in service of my community, to my elders and to young people. I'm an ethnic studies professor at Skyline College, where I've taught since 2004. I'm a nonprofit executive director of an award-winning ethnic studies program called Pinoy Pinay Educational Partnerships, where I have mentored hundreds of undergraduate and graduate students and thousands of students to become professors, teachers, counselors, administrators, lawyers, nonprofit directors, artists, healers, to transform our communities. Social justice is not just a word I say, but what I embody. I am social justice. I have become the protest sign that was on the street, all the way to the classroom, and now into City Hall. I'm a true believer in making choices that will affect us generationally. My platform is COVID-19 relief as we turn the corner on this pandemic, but we can't forget those that fought on the front lines, the essential workers that saved us from death, and essential workers who kept our communities going. Housing for all. As a renter, I know the struggles and fear of raising rents and the insecurity of feeding your family and staying where you have grown your roots. I'm a true believer in a greener Daly City, where we take the necessary actions locally to affect the world globally, to find ways to transform our world away from fossil fuel dependency towards cleaner energy. I'm also a believer in economic and community development, where we can create revenue to invest in our people and our future. Also about public safety, to protect our community, where our communities feel safe and they can thrive. We have changed the paradigm of public safety, where we've talked about adding the mayor's mental health initiative that I'm partnered with many mayors across the county. And one of the things that I'm really proud of is also youth civic engagement. As you see amongst the room, there's a lot of young people in this room, planting the seeds of leadership so youth are engaged in the process of local politics and have the skills to transform themselves and our communities. Thank you.
Next will be Ray Buenaventura.
Thank you, and thank you also, obviously, to the League and to the Chamber for putting this on. So this is probably the most uncomfortable part for me when I go to a candidate forum, the opening statement part. And the reason why is because we're supposed to basically tell you what we did and take credit for the stuff that we have accomplished. And I find it very difficult to do that. I would rather just you ask me questions and I can respond and you decide whether or not you think I'm worthy of another term. But I do understand the need to give you information about who I am, what I've done, and what I'm about. Let me start by first saying that I believe in public service. I believe that you, the people out there, are my bosses. And I believe that this job is trying to do the best that I can for the people in the community. So what I'm looking forward to is actually listening to what your questions are, what your ideas come from, and how you think. Because I think that's what's most important about a forum like this. Not what I've done or what I'm gonna do, but whether or not I understand what your issues are. That's important. So some background about me. So I'm an immigrant from the Philippines. I came here around 1973. And I moved here, my family moved here. I eventually moved to Daly City in 1978. I went to Fernando. And then later on, I went to UC Berkeley. I got an undergrad degree in legal studies. And then I went on to law school, where I became an attorney. So I also started my own practice here in Daly City in 1998, where I was focused on my practice, but at the same time, I was trying to build communities. And that's how I got heavily involved in Daly City and the people. And then at some point, I got appointed, and then I ran for re-election, and I ran for re-election. I'm still here because I do believe there is much more to do in Daly City. There's much more that I can do in Daly City. I do have a record of accomplishment. But again, I'm not about trying to brag and say what I did and trying to promote myself. I think maybe you could take a look at my record and what I've done. Look me up on my website, do a search on me, and you'll see that I've been out there and I've been advocating for issues that you care about. So I have priorities. Affordable housing is clearly one of them. Balancing our budget, increasing our revenue, public safety, making sure we provide core services to the people of Daly City. And right now, we're in a really crucial time because we're in a transition period. And so I would hope you'd give me another chance to help the people of Daly City. Thank you.
Thank you. And finally, our last candidate, Manofo Anoe.
I also just wanted to note that I'm hard of hearing, so if you could please speak up for me, I'd really appreciate it moving forward. Thank you very much. Good evening in Talofa. From my native tongue, that is greetings and hello. My name is Manofo Liainga Anoa'i. I am named after my mother, who is a high chief from a small dot in the Pacific Ocean. And her name, Manofo, means new beginning. Why am I running? Because I believe to a certain degree that Daly City is in need of a new beginning. For the past 7 years, I have served as a trustee, a past president, and a vice president on the Jefferson Elementary School District Governing Board. While I'm applauded as a first Pacific Islander in many seats, I understand the importance to keep the door open and the ladder down, because it is the investment of people that have put others in leadership that I have benefited from. It's important to recognize when it's time to make space and take space. So I have made some progress with some amazing colleagues on the school board. And in these past 7 years, we've been able to enhance certain things in this community. You can see the building of a workforce housing project just down the street from where my kids went to school. I'm a mother of 6 children, now 2 angels, 4 who are continuing to fight and thrive in this city that we call Daly City. I'm here tonight to hear from you and to tell you why, because many people are wondering, who is Manofo and why is she running? I am standing on the shoulders of my ancestors and many of you sitting here tonight because I want the change that you came here to seek. I believe that I am the voice of the voiceless. I didn't need a title before taking the seat on Jefferson Elementary School Board to do the work that I have done for the past 35 years, not just here in Daly City, but in the broader San Mateo County and throughout the Bay Area. I am grateful for the opportunity to be in those spaces, but I'm asking you today to lean in and learn more about why I'm asking for your vote. Thank you. Pafitai Telelava.
So that does it for opening statements. We go to the question period now. So it's time for the candidates to answer your questions. If you've not written your question, please do it now. Raise your hand so the ushers can pick up your written questions. And also for those of you that are watching this on live stream, there's an email address for online questions, questions@lwvncsmc.org. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer the question. I'll vary the order in which the candidates are called on to speak. If a question is addressed to a particular candidate, that candidate will be asked to answer first. I don't think that's I've not received a question like that yet, and the questions that I received online weren't directed at any specific candidate, so I'm not sure that that rule will apply. So let's get to the first question. Okay. First question, and it will be to Pamela DiGiovanni. And all of you will answer the question. Name one of the problems facing Daly City, and how would you go about solving it?
Well, there's a lot of things we're all facing after COVID, and I think that expanding our mental health programs and access to that for our diverse community, making sure that the monies are there and the support is there for all the families, and then increasing revenues. Increasing revenues has been something, that's why we, as a council, did the Measure Q funds to not make it off the backs of the people, and the housing. Affordable housing. And what I mean by affordable housing, I don't mean the term affordable housing. I mean where people can actually not lose the roof off where they're living at. So these are things we can face, but we can face them together. And we've already supported Habitat for Humanity projects, 100% affordable housing, teacher staff housing. And I think we can do more together, because I think that when we look at this, we are losing the diversity. We are losing it. I live at Westlake Apartments, and in my building, I have people from Sierra Leone, I have people from everywhere, and I'm a Jewish immigrant.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.
Manolfo, do you want me to repeat the question?
Could you repeat the question louder for me, please? I apologize. Thank you.
Name one of the problems facing Daly City, and how would you go about solving or making progress on it?
Yeah, I think we need to make affordable housing more accessible, and we need to be able to let our community define what affordable means. You know, there are many requirements for our citizens and our residents, and being a renter myself, I understand that we have many unemployed and underemployed families that are working 1 to 2 jobs, and it's unfortunate that even with that, they are still unable to stay here. As a school board member, we see declining enrollment. And one of my priorities is maintaining a quality education in our community. But we can't do that if our families are leaving. We need to continue to reach out to our communities and understand the pulse of what they're experiencing and bring those conversations here, so that together it's inclusive leadership that makes those decisions as a whole community.
Thank you. Ray Buenaventura.
Yes, thank you. Housing has always been a top priority for me, more specifically affordable housing, as all the speakers have mentioned, because it's clearly a concern. People are moving to Daly City. This is a great place to live, and people are coming here. The problem is the escalation of the costs, and that's why we need to do something about it. You know, with every project that comes here to Daly City to build housing, I have never been shy at asking for more than what our ordinance asked for. And so I've also been always interested and voted for things like teachers' housing, workforce housing, because I think it's critical that we look out for people who need it the most and who are people in our community who deserve some help. Also, I believe in tenant protections. I was one of the ones who made sure that people weren't getting mass evictions in Daly City when they tried to do that. My time is up. Thank you.
Next will be Rod Dobbs Magbal.
Let's just address the elephant in the room, right? We heard many candidates talk about housing. And I too believe that the most crucial issue here in the Bay Area is housing, right? And we haven't been sitting on our hands not doing anything. I think that what we demonstrated here in Daly City is something that's unprecedented across the nation, where we've passed teacher housing K through 12. I think that, and we're bringing also some of the most largest affordable housing units in San Mateo County in the Bay Shore. And we have this, all these different partnerships. I also tried to champion a resolution this past Monday about protecting tenants' rights and increasing the eviction moratorium until December. But for this to happen, we have to bring all the players together to work together and to realize that having roots and being ripped from roots is a terrible thing.
Finally, Cheryl Couture.
Of course, it's affordable housing. I feel like we can, tap into more rent subsidies. I myself was on Section 8, and that's the only way that I could go back to school. I was able to save for a car, so that really helped me from personal experience. And we can also, as a city, ask for, higher living wages.
Okay. Question number 2. Question number 2, concerning city parks. How can the city parks be improved to allow for best use? With schools locked after hours, how can the parks replace them as a place of recreation? Currently, there are infrastructure issues at the parks that require renovation. So I'll repeat the question. How can the city parks be improved to allow for best use? And first up is going to be Ray Buenaventura.
Thank you. So, as a member of the council, I have always kept an eye out for our city parks. And the reason is because I do think it is critical for a city to have at its disposal places where people can safely congregate, can enjoy our green spaces, and can be a center, a community hub for people to get together. And so when there are problems that surface, for example, when even lights at the tennis courts were out, or some of the grass needed some improvements and we needed to replace it. And also when it comes to community centers where they're in bad need of remodeling, I have acted expeditiously and made sure that we get the funding that's needed. And I've worked with Assemblyman Phil Ting to upgrade places like the Dolger Community Center. Thank you.
The second to answer the question will be Rod Das Magboal.
So parks. I still remember my young kids, and I used to live across the street from Gellert Park, and bringing both my children to the park as a young father. And I see the importance of parks in terms of their development physically, emotionally, spiritually, and as a father to get their energy out. So I totally understand the whole purpose of parks. We were able to work collaboratively with Supervisor Canepa, Assemblymember Ting, to get all these different funding, Measure K funding. And you see the evolution of Gellert Park. You see the evolution of all these different parks around the city. It's changed since my daughter was 1 year old. She is 14 years old. And I would be proud if I had a young one to take them to the parks now, because they have changed over the past 14, 15 years.
Thank you. Manufo?
Thank you for the question. The reality is that the Measure K came in and funded not just our park and rec facilities, but it also benefited some of our school spaces, and we're very, very grateful for that funding. But we recognize too that this work has to be in partnership with community. When I worked for Willie Brown during his administration, it was my job to get out there and hunt for funding because the city could not fully fund projects in the Excelsior. So I understand that we have so many business owners out there, huge business, that can also help us enhance our park facilities. It's so important. My boys, my kids grew up at every park here in Daly City. And some of them still need some love. So with that said, we have to be creative. We have to understand and know that the city can't do this alone, and there are many partners waiting for us to engage them.
Next will be Cheryl Couture.
So I talk to the people who go to the park almost every day. We have 8 parks in Daly City. One concern was the park in Westlake. So once it's dark and you go there, there's a lot of people hanging out at that park, and walking around, you'll actually step on needles. So this is a safety issue. This is a health issue. I think it needs to be addressed with the help of city workers to just go out there and clean it up. If you need to add some lights, then so be it.
Thank you. Pamela DiGiovanni.
Yeah, I just want to let people know that there was a huge plan and outreach done, and with my colleagues on the council, on our whole, looking at all our parks. So that process of what you see now is Geller Park, but you're also going to see transformations in our pocket parks. You've seen a lot of that where we had little dedications to our Tita Galeon and the small pocket park. We also are looking at the Marchbank Park. I worked on, and when we did the Geller Park, I asked for the very first wheelchair swing. And I was very blessed to get it. I'm currently in talks with Masons and Lions that are interested also in partnering with us. They currently have adopted our Hillside Park and cleaning it. And we have a great public works department, and they do go out and they look for grants. And we all bless for that. And we do work with our assembly members, and they do help fund us when we ask. So, but we are in a process of getting a skate park as well.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.
Okay, so I got a number of questions having to do with Public Works. I'm not going to read all of them. I'm going to kind of summarize the gist of what the questions was about. And what I'd like you to do is address how on the City Council, through Public Works, you will help to resolve some of these issues that people are concerned about. So what would you do to improve the safety of the streets in Daly City? In particular, there was concern about the lanes on East Market near Hillside, and particularly speeding on small streets with people trying to get kids to school. What can be done to improve parking, the street cleaning rotation, illegal dumping in Daly City, and also support for public transportation, particularly for youth and young commuters. So there's a lot there, but I think it's all about Public Works, and how would that get addressed if you became a member of the City Council? So we'll start with Cheryl Couture.
So safe streets, speeding, parking, alternate days for street cleaning. I think, coordination with Public Works, coordination with, as far as making sure that people are assigned to all these areas of concern. And just, trying to, make sure that, these items are addressed as urgently as needed.
Pamela DiGiovanni.
Thank you. So I hope I got it right. So I want to make sure that we do safe streets first. So we have a very first city to adopt this plan called Vision Zero. Vision Zero, I'm proud to be the representative on that. What that is pedestrian-led, and they did a study with partners, engineers, and brought in partners, and they looked at all the arterials of where the accidents occur for pedestrian safety. So I'll give you just an example up by Woodrow School, where the lighting, where our engineers did, recognized that it needed to be changed so they'd have more time passing. Safe routes to school, as I mentioned earlier, with Assemblymember Ting, I was able to grant funding for $3.2 million with him. And it does safe routes to school, but it also makes our seniors safe and makes sure that traveling back and forth for our public safety. So I'm very humbled to sit on that, on safe routes to school as well. And commute.org, we're addressing free transit for multimodal to get people out of the cars. Thank you very much.
Rod Dos-Mocgol.
I just want to correct. I've been working with Phil Ting with his staff since December when I got on to mayor, talking about safe streets, safe routes to school, and he had a recent press conference about $3.2 million to come into Daly City. So I've been working hard with the staff since the time I got on to become mayor. Also with illegal dumping, I want to applaud our staff, Leilani Ramos, that has put together a Clean Daly City, and she implemented a program. She brought in our ideas as council, staff, and people on the ground, and she has a successful program that is now collaborative, and it's still a young program, and we're trying to find out what this program and its potential can be. So we're still waiting to see the results, and I applaud our staff in putting that program together.
Yeah, thank you.
Ray Buenaventura.
Thank you. So I've heard 6 issues that were raised, and I can't even begin to address all of them in under a minute. But I will say that these issues have surfaced before, and what I did, I led in the creation of the iHelp Daly City app, where you can basically take a photo of what the problem is, and it shoots it automatically to Public Works, and it is tracked. The data is there, the GPS locations and things like that. But the bottom line is, we need to hear from you. The communication needs to be ongoing so we know what the problems are and we can address it. We do have a very good Public Works department that is responsive, but they do need to know as fast as you can let them know what the problem is, and they will tend to it. I think we're doing a good job in that sense, but the more information we have, the more communication we have with the community, the better it is for everybody. Thank you.
Manolfo.
I deeply appreciate the funding that we get from the state and also our county in ensuring that we have safe streets and a safe community. The reality is that we need to do better at being accountable at how these projects are facilitated. I served as the project manager to revamp Ocean Avenue and worked in partnership with Mitchell Engineering and PG&E. You go down Mission Street that starts from here in Daly City and heads into the Excelsior. I also oversaw that project, and here on Geneva and Mission. We did traffic studies. We did all of the things that had community input. But what stalled many of the projects was the timeline. Sometimes it's out of our control, but we need to be intentional as policymakers to ensure that we're building bridges with our partners that are facilitating these projects and holding them accountable, but also being accountable here in this seat to ensure if there's something that is stalled, that we address it, because time is money, and that is what people are tasked to do when they provide oversight from this seat.
Okay, we're going to move on to our next question. How would you promote working in harmony within the council? And how would you create a collaborative spirit in our city and community? How would you promote working in harmony within the council? And how would you create a collaborative spirit in our city and community? And we'll start with Manolfo.
Thank you for the question. I come from a culture that is fueled by love and respect. I wear this lei tonight because it's a sign of humility and service. We need to model the leadership that we say we want to see. We can't just speak to it. We need to be the ones that set the tone and the example of what we want to see as far as harmony in any space that we get to contribute to. But as a decision maker, we are held to a higher standard. I have a long-standing track record in this community and on the school board that when I came in, it was toxic. You can go on YouTube and see that. But I showed up as myself. I brought my culture, I brought my diversity of thought, not just the color of my skin. Respect is key. We cannot work together and make decisions as collective and intend to see action if we are not working in harmony. You vote for me, that's what you will see. And I stand on that.
Ray Buenaventura.
Thank you. I have roughly about 5 things that I look for someone to collaborate with. The first being listening, and I believe that's the most important. To listen to what other opinions are, and then secondly is to actually go beyond listening, but trying to understand their point of view. And if you can do that, you're halfway there. I need to see someone with some compassion. Compassion for the issue, compassion for people. And fourthly, someone that you can trust. Someone that is trustworthy. Someone who will keep their word when they say they're going to do something. And finally, someone who is civil. Not outbursts, not grandstanding, but civil.
Cheryl Couture.
So it's all about teamwork. I think the second you think that you're the best one, that's the wrong mentality to have, because this is, it can only work as a team, and you have to put your personal aspirations aside because this is for the community, and you always put the community in the center of all your decision making. I myself, I don't aspire to be the best one in this team if elected, but I do want to be the best one for this team. Thank you.
Pamela DiGiovanni.
Thank you. As someone that served on this council with colleagues, we all come from different minds, and we need to realize that. Just like the last council meeting, when I voted in support of Mayor Rod's resolution, because it was the right thing to do. And if the other people didn't vote for it, then I need to respect their decision too. So we didn't get the full count, but you need to stand in those value system and support what you believe is right and correct. But at the same time, like when they explain why they didn't vote or why they didn't vote or why they're supporting it, as Mayor eloquently did the other night, or why he wanted us to vote. And it was a compelling story because it was about the community. It was all about you and making sure that you have a roof over your head while you filled out your paperwork and with faith in action. So that's just an example. And I think we've been able to get a lot done together, regardless of where we come from. Thank you.
Rod Smugbul.
Harmony. When I think of harmony, I think of music, right? And when we talk about music, sometimes you could have the greatest sound, but if you don't have the relationships with the people in your band, it'll all go to mess. As an educator, as a community college educator, I have kids that are from 17 years old to aunties and grandpas and grandmas in my class. How are you supposed to create harmony? You create harmony by understanding their stories. I come here with respect, and when I work here on council, and I demonstrated over the past 4 years that even if we have the slightest difference in values, slightest difference in political views, I listen to their story because people arrive to where they're at in different ways. But one thing that we all have in common is that we all care for the community. And so that's how I work, because I want to envision a community that has harmony, and it deals with, number one, relationships.
Thank you. Our next question. What do you feel is your most significant contribution to underserved populations in Daly City? I'll repeat. What do you feel is your most significant contribution to underserved populations in Daly City? And we'll start with Rod Dausmagabal.
The most significant contribution to underserved communities. That's been my vocation, has always been serving the most underserved communities. I have gone into classrooms. I've gone to Westmore High School, woke up at 7 in the morning and taught at 7:30 in the morning to talk about the importance of your existence in leadership. I have came and talked to young people in the YEEP program to talk about their importance to change generationally by the choices they make and the skills they get to change themselves, their communities, and the world. So when we talk about serving the most underrepresented people, that's my whole value. That's why I am an ethnic studies teacher. It's not about just diversity. It's about how do we understand oppression and how do we act to address it.
Thank you. Cheryl Couture.
So I think that having no experience in politics, being new, I think that, that demonstrates that, for us working class, the working class here in Daly City, we need, someone who understands, how it is to be, working class and not coming from like a background of, very high education. So I think me being, that voice in the council brings a different perspective, and hopefully, that will bring, diversity to the team, and so that it encompasses, the entire Daly City as a whole, representing all of us.
Pamela DiGiovanni.
I would start by saying be there. I'm very blessed to have the relationship with the school board members at our high school district, elementary school district, Bayshore Elementary. They call me and tell me the needs of their school, and I will help find the resources for them. And for the families in the Daly City Partnership, they call me, they need rental assistance, anything they need, I will be there for them to be their resource. I meet on Fridays, have pupusas with the mothers of Woodrow before we had COVID. Listen to them, be there for them, provide resources. When Teresa Fa'apua calls me and says she needs something, or she needs an extension of vaccination sites or whatever, I'll call the county. I will do whatever it takes to serve our underserved community, because this is what it is. This is why I'm here, this is why I serve, and this is why I'm put on this planet, to be the public servant for all the people, and my Jewish values, and not just Jewish values. It's not just that, because I may come in a different package, but my heart is still the same.
Thank you, Pamela. Manufo.
I am the underserved community. I know what it feels like to be voiceless and unheard. So what is my contribution? To make sure that I'm seen. Because when I'm seen, we're all seen. I have continued to sit at a table that has no one that looks like me. I have continued to be a voice for people who don't always think like me. But I don't take for granted the voice that I am given to use. I know who I represent, and that's everyone. It's just not my Pacific Islander Polynesian community. It is everyone that is needing a voice at the table. So what does that look like? We need to be sure that we're not just representing I. We need to be an ally and look to the left and the right. If someone's not there, use your voice to lift their needs so that they too are seen. And that's what you get with me.
Ray Buenaventura.
Yes, so I thought the question was, what contributions have you made to serve the underserved populations? I'll start by saying I exposed systemic racism in Daly City government. When they had the tenant relief that they were distributing, I exposed the fact that you needed a bank account to get that assistance. And to me, that is built-in systemic racism, because the ones who need it may not have bank accounts. I also am the one who started social justice reform in Daly City, stopping the school to prison pipeline. I initiated a restorative justice program here. I did it in the past in Santa Clara County, and I'm attempting to do it here, and I got the funding to do it here. I also appointed more minority members to our boards and commissions in Daly City, and I also demanded that when it came to projects in Daly City, that small minority business owners are reached out to and made sure they're part of the process and they have a chance at getting bids.
Our next question is, what does diversity look like to you? How would you contribute to bringing diversity to our city council and to the city of Daly City? What does diversity look like to you? What would you contribute to bringing diversity to the city council and to the city of Daly City? And we'll start with Ray Buenaventura.
So in general terms, I think we're all clear on what diversity means. But for me, it's always been about inclusion, especially of diverse communities. And I was one of the ones who led with Mayor Manalo on the issue of a sanctuary city in Daly City. I was the one who initiated having Daly City becoming a refugee city. And I wanted to see if we can get refugees to come to Daly City. As far as diversity on the council, I was the one that basically put together a council with the most diverse members in Daly City. 4 of the 5 city council members right now are diverse, are Filipino, to be more specific. I have also appointed more diverse candidates to boards and commission with the idea that someday they're going to take over and put them in a position to lead, to get the experience, and to be in government.
Thank you. Cheryl Couture. Sure. What does diversity look like to you? How would you contribute to bringing diversity to the city council and to the city of Daly City?
So I'm actually very proud that in the United States, only in Daly City, you can, run for public office and without regard for race. So I'm very proud of that. I'm glad that here, we're able to be to live diversely, together with each other. So to me, diversity is not just with race. It's also diversity in backgrounds, and I think that's what I see. Happy to see in the council today.
Rod Smogbol.
I guess I want to start off with some music lyrics, and I want to use Bob Marley. And he said, "Until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war." So when I think of diversity, it's not just the aesthetic of the Rainbow Coalition or bringing Pancit to a multicultural function. It's about talking about the history of oppression. It's about understanding why issues are happening today, but it's also talking about understanding equity, but the fight for freedom. Because there was one time, and I quote one of my favorite authors, Carlos Bulosan, he said, there was a time where it felt like it was a criminal to be Filipino. There was a time when my grandfather came here back in the 1930s and was subjugated to the Watsonville riots. So when we talk about diversity and equity, we got to understand history to understand the context why young people are so mad and to fight for what is right and to change the world.
Thank you. Manofo Anoe.
Thank you. Diversity is defined in so many ways. And specifically speaking to Daly City, I see many convenings that do not represent everyone from different neighborhoods in this city. So when we speak to diversity, I think we need to be very intentional about how we are being inclusive. I don't always see Bay Shore at the table. I know that I don't always see, our senior population. And as a daughter of a Navy man, I also know we have a huge veteran population here. We need to be very intentional when we're engaging people and saying we want to be diverse, because it's not just the color of our skin. We come from so many vibrant communities that need to be represented. So let's do our homework and make sure we're touching everyone in this city and bringing them in to the conversation.
Pamela DiGiovanni.
Yeah, let me begin by saying it's about opening the door. So I was happy to be able to support the first, when you do the LGBTQ, like you use the word diversity. Diversity means binary. It means more than one, like she was saying, not just the color of one's skin. It means more than that, not just a rainbow of just one or the other. Because what makes somebody diversity? You can look at them, but you don't really know. You don't know who their real family is. You don't know that if their parents came from the Holocaust or their grandfather perished, like my grandfather perished in the Holocaust when the ship turned around. But I want to tell you, I opened the door for the first Samoan woman to be on the library trustee, Teresa Fa'apua, the first Latino on our recreation commission with Saul Miranda Cardenas, and our first and all our Filipinos, because they know when I'm at Buri Buri or wherever I'm at. They know my heart, and I bring them to me, and they open their hearts. When the people open their hearts, especially in this beautiful, diverse community, then we need to welcome them. Thank you.
Pamela, thank you. Next question. We feel there is a lack of soul in our city. What will you do to bring arts and culture opportunities to our youth and community? Have you done so in the past? There's also a question about Daly City Parks and Rec. It's kind of it's in the same direction as this question, about plans or thoughts on reviving Daly City-sponsored sports for youth. So I'll repeat the question. What will you do to bring arts and culture, sports, opportunities to our youth and community, and have you done so in the past? And we'll start with Cheryl Couture.
So over the weekend, there was a Latino festival at Gillard Park that was such a hit. It was well attended, well planned. I think we should have more of these festivals to showcase, the different cultures that are here in Daly City, so that we can, meet each other there and, find out more about each other. The other thing would be, what was that?
Do you want me to repeat the
Yes,
question?
please.
Put it away. What would you do to bring arts and culture opportunities to our youth and community? Have you done so in the past? And there was also a question about youth sports.
So for youth sports, I actually am wishing that we can collaborate with our neighboring cities so that we can have inner city leagues for sports. That would be something that, can bring, our neighbors and us together, because in South San Francisco, they have that amazing pool that maybe Daly City can also use, and vice versa.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, Manofo Anoi.
Thank you for the question. In 2011, I had 8 moms. 5 of them were Daly City mothers who had nowhere to take their children for the summer and after school. They couldn't afford the summer camps that our city, was offering. So I came together with a bunch of women who are here tonight too, from different walks of life, who said, let's build something together. And Camp Unity was formed. And through that program, we have served 8,000 children to date from all backgrounds. But what was the commonality in that is we were building community. So when we talk about arts and culture, it wasn't just performing arts. We were building community and raising awareness and raising our cultural antenna to break down the systemic racism that exists in our different communities. So I have been a bridge builder, but I would not be able to do that and promote youth development programs without the help of the voices and the feedback that have fed into fueling and bringing those types of programs to fruition. And I hope that I have the opportunity to do more.
Ray Buenaventura?
The question was, what have you done with respect to arts and culture? And quite frankly, I started the Arts and Culture Commission in Daly City. Before I got on the council, there was no Arts and Culture Committee. I proposed the idea maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and thankfully it passed, and I put together the Arts and Culture Commission, and we got it passed in a resolution and ordinance, and so it exists today. They're doing a tremendous job. I mean, you could see it with all the murals, the paintings, the events that they put on, and it was really, they're doing what the Arts and Culture Commission was supposed to do. And they even came up to the council at one point and asked for more to do, and I was willing to give them actually more power to get them to do more projects. But unfortunately, that was shut down by some members of the council, and we're not there yet. As far as the youth sports, I was behind the Daly City Dolphins and also the Daly City Spartans basketball team. Thank you.
Thank you for ending. Pamela DeGiovanni?
Yeah, thank you. I have to say, yeah, our Arts and Culture Commission are fantastic. They've even partnered with county, like with the poetry, and they've done great things to do outreach. They have done like the boxes, the utility boxes, great projects in our city. And they, in our library, they partner there as well. They could partner there, and when you attend, there's poetry sessions that bring in our youth and bring in all for activities. And I think that seeing them and what they do, and they brought the Joe Coy, they brought so much in such a short period of time since that commission started, and I think that they are able to create on their own, and I think that's the way they've been bringing in the youth, and we've been having a lot of youth to become a part of it and to expand it more. As far as I believe you said the sports? Yes, sports is, we did expand in the recreation area. Currently, we have expanded the programs for basketball, open court, everything for our youth with our high school district. We work with them, our elementary school districts, the Bay Shore as well, to make sure that they have funding as well.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Rod Smugbull.
I think it'd be kind of embarrassing if I said I would champion Arts and Culture Commission when my wife is on Arts and Culture Commission, and she put together a lot of these things, from art exhibits to here in Daly City to the Joe Coy event and then the key to the city. So it'd be remiss to be like, I did this and I did that, and my wife is sitting in the, and I'll be in trouble if I go home and be like, you best believe. And so I want to also reiterate what my colleague Ray Buenaventura said. We champion Arts and Culture Commission, but we do have a person on our council that didn't support the advocacy for giving more empowerment and self-determination over a commission. And if you're a champion for arts and culture, you should have voted yes. And so when we talk about WSPA, Westlake School of Performing Arts, my daughter has been in this school since 3 years old. I've traveled with them through New York to Arizona, and I've seen kids that became my daughter's teachers, became from teachers to family to me. And I'm currently working in this project called The Art of War. We're working together to talk about Filipino-American labor arts and culture and dance. So hope to see you next year.
Thank you. It's looking like, can we go over by a little bit? A little bit? I'm thinking 2 more questions.
It's up to them. Let's go.
If I go with 1 question, then we'll finish on time. If I go with 2, we'll go over by a little bit. 2 more questions? 1 question. 1 question. I'm reading the faces. Okay, last question. And this is my favorite question. I think it's kind of fun. Name a unique skill that you bring to the council if you're elected. I like to think of it, what is your superpower? Okay, we'll start with Pamela DiGiovanni.
Thank you. I like that question. I think heart. I think heart is what it is. Like when you bring heart, you get together with people. And I even remember just in passing, and I do have to give Manu Fo credit and her son Reno. I think when they have the heart, and they did create, I have to do it, the Camp Unity, and we came in the chambers to find space. And then when you have the heart, and you see that they're trying so hard, and their heart is in it, and trying so hard to find space, and that space was not there for that community. And I'm not saying it while you're here, but it was not there. And I came with Reno because it's a space. They had to fight for a space. And then I will be there for them. I may not be Pacific Islander, but I was there. And I was there at Jefferson on the ground with Pitt. And I'm there because I'm there with my heart.
Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you.
Next will be Ray Buenaventura.
So if you watch some of our council meetings, I think what you'll notice there is I really don't talk that much. And it's honestly because I want to listen more to what other people are saying. I'm never the one who is first out of the box with a question, and I'm never the last one either. But I'm someone that if I say something, I want to make my words count. I don't grandstand, I don't pontificate, I don't just praise people. I actually like to ask questions, and I'll even ask a question like something I think I know the answer to, but I'll ask it anyway because I want people to talk and give me their opinion so I can listen and try to understand what their issue. So if there was a skill, I would say it's just the skill to be able to facilitate, listen, and understand people.
Next is Cheryl Couture.
I think clearly my superpower is that I'm an excellent public speaker. I'm kidding. Actually, I'm working on it, but the same as Mr. Buenaventura, I also tend to listen more. I'm more like in the background of things. You don't see me in pictures because I always like to take the picture. Quite shy, so this is really interesting. But yeah, so I think, I listen more than I talk. I like to observe because I do like to understand and be in the moment.
Thank you. Rod Magbul.
Okay. I come into this position because I respect the position. I respect the position of power. And one of my favorite films is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is, with great power comes with great responsibility. And when you come with that, you understand the history, the magnitude of this seat. That you are a seat at the table when this seat wasn't even open for you. And when I come into this seat with this honor of this position of leadership, I come up with grace, I come up with responsibility, and I come with it with historical duty. That at one time, one of these young people that are sitting in this crowd is going to take this seat. And I want to set it up for them so that they don't have to fight for what I had to fight for. And I'm a true believer in the 7th-generation indigenous framework, that what we do now and do here, even if it's what we're going to do next week, it's going to affect 7 generations after me. So that's the type of unique perspective I come to council.
Manofo Anoi.
I love this question. I believe my superpower is love. And I say that because Aloha Spirit is alive and well. You see it on the corner when I'm standing with family and friends. You see this, because this is how I lead. I lead with love, and love leads to courage. That's what you'll get from me. I will be that lone voice many times that will raise issues, because that's out of love. My mama always said, if you love somebody, you tell them. And it's important that we have that courage in these seats to lift those issues that many are waiting to be touched by some love and resolution. So I believe that that's some of the power or some of the voice that I will bring in this space.
So that'll end our question period. So we're ready for closing statements. And we'll go in the reverse order of the opening statements. So our first speaker will be Manoy.
I'm deeply honored and humbled to see a sea of people that are here interested to make an informed decision, and those of you tuned in. I also believe that my fellow candidates are invested in ensuring that the voices that support them are represented in this process. I'm all about fighting the good fight, but I understand the importance of community and being a bridge builder, because this is relational work. We need to work with decision makers that are in harmony. We can't be divided. And I think it's important that we recognize that that is what is needed. Am I qualified? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I say that with a heart of humility. I've worked hard these past 35 years. I've been in the trenches. I've been in the struggle, and I'm still in the struggle. And I think that's what gives me a very unique perspective, because I don't let go of the struggle that I've been through. It has defined me, and it has defined the biggest muscle that I have, and that's my heart. I believe in transparency, and I believe in inclusion. I know what it's like to have decisions made for me. That's why I'm a good listener. I make sure that what I listen gets in front of the people that need to hear it. I will continue to serve this community just like I did before, whether or not I am successful this November 8th. But it's my hope that you will carry me through. I'm hoping for that. I'm standing on the shoulders of my ancestors that worked hard to let me get here. And I'm hoping that you make an informed decision. October 10th, you will see your ballots. Make the right decision. And I ask with a humble heart to vote for Manufo Liainga Anua'i. If I'm elected, they say, I will be the first Pacific Islander to sit in a city council seat in the state of California. We need to do better. Vote for me.
Reserve your applause, please. Be fair. Number 2 will be Ray Buenaventura.
Yes, so I want to thank the League and the Chamber for putting this on, and I want to thank all of you for coming, and also obviously for the members of the YouTube audience for listening. So I'm running for re-election, as I said before, because I think I have more to do, more to give for the people of Daly City. I am the most senior member of the council today. I am the most tried and tested of all the public officials in Daly City today. I think I'm at my best when there is a crisis. When there is issues that come up, I think I've demonstrated true leadership. We are at a critical time right now because of a change in administration with the city manager having recently retired. There are decisions that need to be made moving forward on how we're going to change the city for the better of everyone. I have made good on some of the promises that I have made to you, including helping save Seton Hospital. I voted against the elimination of Engine 95, and I helped bring it back. I also was able to balance the budget every year that I've been on this council. I have more to do with respect to affordable housing, social justice reforms, public safety. I initiated reforms with our police. I'm bringing a restorative justice program here. We can do more in Daly City for everybody. We can be that better city. And I believe I have a lot more to give, and I hope you can help me and vote for me in November. I have the support of the Democratic Party, the Labor Council, the Working Families Party, the firefighters, the police, Senator Weiner, Assemblyman Ting, Supervisors Canepa, Supervisor Slocum, Supervisor Pine, the API Caucus, the Latinx Democratic Club. I just hope I get yours. Thank you.
Our third closing statements will be given by Rod Das Magbaval.
These last 2.5 years was probably the hardest times of my life since losing my mom 12 years ago. When we went shelter in place, there were times where I felt like, is this worth it? Soul searching, praying, thinking, what would my ancestors do? And I kept on going back and forth because this position is powerful, but yet it will kill you. And so the question came, why do you want to come back after COVID-19? I didn't expect all this 4 years ago when I sat in this seat and got elected. It was one of the hardest decisions to come back and be like, I'm not done yet. I am not done yet. When I sat and prayed and I reflected and I wrote in my journal, why are you coming back? Because there's more to do. I want my kids to see that I didn't just lay down, that I fought for them, that the kids that I work with at Skyline College that are from Daly City, that I fought for them, that I represent their values, that they're going to be the next generation of leaders. And what kind of example am I going to set for them? Did he quit? Hell nah. I'm here. I'm here through Zoom. I'm here in person, and I hope that you could ride with me. And you know, my initials, or we spell my name R-O-D. I hope to ride or die with you all. Thank you.
Next will be Pamela DiGiovanni.
Yes, I can't help but thank the League of Women Voters and all of you out here in our chamber who've done a fantastic job and have opening up for YouTube. This is the first time we've been in here in a while, and this is what it's about. This is the people's house. This is your house. And what people know about me over these past years is that I'm on the ground. I'm at JU, at the high school district at Jefferson with Kalima. I'm over at Bayshore with Teresa, with the vaccination sites. I'm at Pacelli Gym coordinating thing. I'm in the community. I'm in the community with everybody from all backgrounds, no matter who you are, and I'm there for you. And I've proven that. I'm the Lolos that call me at night, anyone. So that is why we need to continue this work. We have more work to do. And I know that I want to run for re-election because in my heart, where I serve the most is I serve you. And it's a great privilege to do so with humility. So I humbly, honorably ask for your vote for re-election so we can do this together, beside one another, work together, bring people together, as Ms. Foe said. We need to bring people together because the world is coming apart. And we can't do that. We're Daly City. We're Daly City where people need to be together and respect one another for who they are and their value system. So I humbly ask for your vote, and I think there's more work to do, and I'm ready to do it. And I have the experience and the qualifications, and I'm there for you. So thank you very much, and thank you to the League and to the Chamber and to all of you. This is your house. Thank you.
And our last candidate to speak is Cheryl Couture.
So interesting that Ms. DiGiovanni said that this is our house when she asked me to leave the City Hall twice. But I just want to say that to lead is to serve. This is the core of servant leadership. I believe public servants do a disservice to the community by pretending to be perfect. It makes things harder for others like us to aspire to run and serve. Leaders are not created by educational institutions. Leaders arise from adversity. This is a particularly disorienting time for all of us. There is major uncertainty about what's about to happen in the years ahead. At a time like this, we need a leader who will bring us together, not pull us apart. Hardly anything worth doing can be done alone. In order for one of us to make it, hundreds must try. I am proof that anything is possible. I believe in miracles. We represent a new generation of Americans. We deserve a seat at the table. When someone tells you to wait your turn, ignore them, do it anyway. Thank you.
You can find additional information about the candidates on the League's Voters Edge website. That's Voters Edge, it's one word, .org. All the candidates have been invited to enter their information and to link to their own websites. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization, and membership is open to both men and women of voting age. If you're interested in helping in your community with forums such as this or other activities that encourage civic education and involvement, we have brochures that are available, they're right there in the front of the room with information about joining the League. Ballots will be mailed on October 10th. October 24th is the last day to register and get a non-provisional ballot. Note that you can register to vote up to the day before the election, but you will have to submit a provisional ballot. I want to thank Betty, Edith, and Jackie from the League for facilitating the forum. I also want to acknowledge the Daly City Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum. Remember to vote by Tuesday, November 8th, and encourage others to vote as well. And now in conclusion, please join me in applauding and thanking the candidates for coming this evening and for running for a seat on the Daly City Council.
I wanted to give some thank yous for this evening. First of all, I want to thank the community. Thank yourselves for showing up. There's a lot of you out there. Also, I want to thank the candidates for coming. We learned a lot this evening. Thank you very much. Also wanted to thank the staff of Daly City. They set up the room. There's also a girl in the back there running YouTube. This will be on the Chamber's YouTube channel because there was so much information. I'm sure that there's some things that you may want to rewind and kind of sit and listen to. So I thank the League of Women Voters for inviting us here to support them. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you. What the address of this